Getting ready to be crazy in the NFL on a Friday night blockbuster, kicking it off as the Ravens acquire five-time Pro Bowl defensive end Max Crosby from the Raiders. Adam Schefter reporting that Vegas gets 2 first-round picks from Baltimore, including the 14th pick in next month's draft. Speaking for the first time since the news of the deal, Crosby reflecting on his time in the silver and black.
Ever since I've been here, man, I've had one goal and one mission. That's become the best version of myself and help bring a championship back to the Raider organization. And I feel like I left, everything I had on the table for this team. I've given my heart and soul, and I feel like I let y'all down, man. But for the time being, it's a new day. I'm going to Baltimore, Flock Nation, the fans there. I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of grand, predictions and anything of that, anything of that nature. I'm going there with one purpose, and that's to help this team get to where ultimately where it needs to be and where everybody wants to go, and that's winning the Super Bowl.
And that's the kind of mentality he is bringing to Baltimore as the Ravens get a leader and one of the best pass rushers in the land. Since he entered the NFL in 2019, Crosby leads the league with 360 pressures, 29 more than the next closest player, guy you might have heard of named Myles Garrett. Who's his new division rival, by the way. TJ Watt, that division is absolutely insane. Senior NFL reporter Jeremy Fowler joins us now. And you had told us yesterday that the Cowboys were also trying hard to get Max Crosby. In the end, they had to bow out of that negotiation. So what now for the Cowboys? They need a pass rusher.
Yeah, Hannah, they have to pivot. They were devastated. They did not land Max Crosby. They just had limits as far as how they would go with the draft picks. But if they want to theme, Minnesota's Jonathan Greenard could make some sense for a day 2 pick. A high day 2 pick is what Minnesota is looking for. He also needs a new contract. He has 2 years left on his current deal at around $38 million in total, so he would want to re-up. Teams are grappling with whether that's worth it or not, but certainly there are several that have checked in on that. I believe Dallas is one of them, but they're also going to have some options in free agency. You have Odafe Oweh from the Los Angeles Chargers. Boye Mafe is a sneaky option there, and sort of that next tier. Jalen Phillips, the Eagles are trying to keep Phillips on a new deal, but if he gets free, Dallas could knock on the doors there. Trey Hendrickson is the big name. He's 31 years old, but he's a premier pass rusher. He's going to have a huge market, so it depends on how much Dallas is willing to spend. I don't know if they want to go that high for Hendrickson just yet.
Okay, so let's say Hendrickson to Dallas. Let's say that doesn't happen. What are some other options for him?
So Hendrickson is going to have teams in the mix. Certainly, he is waiting till tomorrow to the tampering period to see who shows the most interest. But he's not going back to Cincinnati. We know that for certain. They are breaking ties. Cincinnati's going to go their own direction. And so Tampa Bay typically has not spent a lot of money in free agency, and maybe they won't. But that's a situation that would be intriguing to the player. He lives in Florida. They need a pass rusher. Are they willing to get to that high market? It could be $30-something million a year for a player like that. Pass rushers that are top 10 like that, they don't come around very often.
Boy, he just feels like he would fit so well in the culture there. Like, that would be very, very intriguing. All right, another looming question. A.J. Brown, is he on his way out of Philly? So take us through a few key players, but if you could start there. What's the latest?
So A.J. Brown is the big name to watch this weekend going into Monday. So the Eagles have fielded calls on him. I talked to a team that believes the Eagles won a first and a second round pick for Brown's services. That is a huge haul for a player who is 20 years old, still elite, but going closer to that age 30. I don't know if teams are willing to give that up as of yet, but he has a market. New England has been combing the receiver field. They've looked into this situation.
That's intriguing.
It's a clear pairing with Mike Vrabel, but they would have to get to the finish line on that. And the Eagles are asking for so much, teams are not even convinced Philly really wants to trade him, and maybe that's just an excuse to get out of it. Alec Pierce, you see the name right there. He is going to do very well in free agency, probably going to be the highest paid out of that group coming out of here. So the Indianapolis Colts are on the clock here. They want to keep Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce wants to stay with Daniel Jones. Those two are good buddies. They have Jones on the transition tag, but they're going to have to pay up. I mean, this is a market that could reach $27 million per year or more. This is a player where if you said he was getting $20 million a year maybe 4 months ago, some around the league would have scoffed at that, but he's got huge upside. He's got downfield play potential. That has taken his market up to a new stratosphere.
Yeah, led the NFL in yards per catch the last couple of seasons. So we're calling it The negotiation window. Yeah, we're done with like all the other terminology. That opens tomorrow at noon Eastern. It's going to be crazy. Jeremy will be all over it. So we'll be talking to you often, my friend. Jay?
Yeah, stat heads will say that wins and losses are not a quarterback stat, that it's an unfair metric for one player in the ultimate team sport. Well, as Don Draper would say, that's what the money's for. The biggest contracts in the game go to those who face the most scrutiny, which is why some Eagles fans' sympathy can only go so far with Jalen Hurts. He's a Super Bowl champion, and if they're going to go back to the biggest stage in the NFL, he'll be the reason. Sal Paolantonio has more.
The 2026 Jalen Hurts Redemption Tour began at the Pro Bowl, where he put on a show.
Last 4 years been Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl, Pro Bowl. What's next year going to look like?
I love for the pattern to repeat itself.
He was fan-friendly and media-savvy, projecting an image far removed from the sullen sideline moments of the Eagles' meltdown last season.
Hurts shotgun snap. Hurts steps up middle. Knocked away by Eric Kendricks. What a play!
After just 1 year, offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo fired.
The problems with this Eagles offense, the scheme was an issue all year long.
Beloved O-line coach Jeff Stoutland, after 13 years and 2 Super Bowl titles, moved on.
A move that sent shockwaves through the city of Philadelphia.
Now it's up to Hurts. The cornerstone of one of the most expensive offenses in the NFL has to start over with a new OC. Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion.
This will be his 7th different play caller in his 7 NFL seasons.
Look for Hurts to be under center more, attacking the field horizontally and over the middle.
We need to find ways to be more explosive. Again, that starts with me.
But Nick Sirianni still has many lingering issues to address. Will Pro Bowlers Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson shake off injuries and return the Eagles' offensive line to dominance? Will number 1 wide receiver A.J. Brown be traded?
We're going to look to add to our roster. We're not looking to subtract.
And most important, can the quarterback be fixed?
We'll be good. I have no doubt.
With his rebooted enthusiasm, sure sounds like it.
We always have enthusiasm with senior NFL insider Jeremy Fowler. We saw Howie Roseman say we're looking to add to our team, not subtract. But there is addition by subtraction potentially here. With regard to A.J. Brown, what are you hearing about a potential trade?
Working on your math, Randy. So he's a big name to watch today because there's interest, and Howie Roseman is getting interest from teams. They're asking for a lot if they are willing to part with A.J. Brown. So the feeling is they're entertaining offers. They've been in that phase. They haven't graduated to wanting to deal him. But I've talked to one team who said the Eagles essentially want a first and a second round pick to make something like this done. That would be a huge haul, and teams are grappling with, do the Eagles even want to trade him because they're asking for so much? So will they lessen their price, or can something get done in the next 24 hours? Certainly a name to watch. If you're a team like the Patriots that's been involved here, you're looking for wide receiver help. Do you try to push this deal through with A.J. Brown, or do you just sign a free agent wide receiver and not have to give up the capital? Eagles have a lot going on. They're trying to re-sign Jalen Phillips, their pass rusher, before Monday as well.
You just touched on a couple of things here because the Patriots just released Stephon Diggs. The Patriots could reunite A.J. Brown with his former coach in Tennessee in Mike Vrabel. And then you mentioned free agency, which legally opens in about 24 hours from now. What are 3 names that we should watch out for?
I'm going to start with Alec Pierce, wide receiver out of the Colts. Now, Indy is trying to keep him. This is probably going to go down to the wire. The tampering period starts Monday at noon. So if he hits the tampering period, it's going to be hard to bring him back because he has a lot of interest. This is a deal that will be upward of $25 million per year, most likely, because he had the 1,000-yard season. He's young. He's got upside. So he's certainly a hot name. You have everyone from the Patriots, Commanders, Raiders, Titans could all be involved here when that window opens, so we'll see. And then there's going to be a trickle-down effect. Romeo Doubs at Green Bay, he's poised to lead the Packers as well. He'll get a big payday. You got Trey Hendrickson, so 31 years old, but a premier pass rusher. Those type of players rarely hit the market, so he is certainly expected to be the highest-paid rusher in this free agent class when it's all said and done. The certainty is he's not going back to Cincinnati. We know that. They're moving on. He's moving on. He's going to have interest. Dallas has monitored Trey Hendrickson for a while, dating back to the trade deadline. They didn't get Max Crosby, so perhaps they get involved with Hendrickson. I do expect Dallas to add a rusher at some point coming up here. Then John Franklin Myers. This is not a household name, but he will be in a couple days. He's going to get a big payday. Denver interior pass rusher. He's the top rusher at that spot. There aren't a lot of guys in that market. It's not considered an overly strong draft class at that spot. So he's going to get a contract probably upward of $18 million a year. So he's one of those sneaky names you wouldn't think would get a huge deal, but he's a good player, and there's going to be a lot of interest there.
Hard to get that production rushing the quarterback inside like that. That's Jeremy Fowler, always productive on SportsCenter. We got tickets punched. Trey and Randy back with you at SportsCenter AM on a Sunday morning. How about Max Crosby? Baltimore bound. That Raiders-Ravens trade from Friday night, sending the 5-time Pro Bowl defensive end to the Charm City in exchange for 2 first-round draft picks, one this year and one in 2027. Crosby wasn't just the Raiders' best defensive player. There were stretches he was the best player on the team. Making his goodbye yesterday on his The Rush podcast, a heartfelt one.
Ever since I've been here, man, I've had one goal and one mission. That's become the best version of myself and help bring a championship back to the Raider organization. And I feel like I left, everything I had on the table for this team. I've given my heart and soul, and I feel like I let y'all down, man. But for the time being, it's a new day. I'm going to Baltimore, Flock Nation, the fans there. I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of grand, predictions and anything of that nature. I'm going there with one purpose, and that's to help this team get to where it needs to be and where everybody wants to go, and that's winning the Super Bowl.
Crosby has been among the most dominant defensive players in football since he entered the league in 2019. He leads all defensive players in tackles for loss and QB pressures while ranking 6th in sacks. And he's going to join a Ravens defense that needs the help. They're tied for the 3rd fewest